It's been about 10 years and I'm finally making a YouTube video. I was challenged by Devin Kearns, who I talked to earlier today, to make a video. And he promised me 1,000 subs in a few weeks if I were to talk about AI stuff. So here I am. Not really because of the subs, but just because I want to showcase what I'm doing. Some of the inspiration for the video is Devin and his work that he's been doing with Custom AI Studio. I've also watched a lot of talks recently and have been getting more into this space. For example, this one, it's not about scale, it's about abstraction. Struck a chord with our approach to AI. And I would like to dive deeper into that at some point. I'll post links and things down below so you can have access to these. But who am I? My name is Jake Rusink. I am a co-founder of Lambda Curry, a full-service web development agency. And we got our first AI client, and I wanted to have a way to showcase our progress on that project publicly. I think it's going to be a really cool and an exciting space to be in, and I would like to have people along for the ride. We have a goal to take AI from cool to useful. And I say without N8N here. So I think part of the AI wave currently, especially on this little circle on YouTube, is all about how to make these N8N agents and doing that. And I love it. I love N8N. It's a great tool. I think it's exciting to see their success in the space. And I think we probably might have use cases for an N8N, but I'll show you what we're building and how it could be useful for people without having to learn the technical things about N8N. Right now, AI is cool. It's exciting. You can edit pictures, you can clean up your writing and grammar, you can use it to come up with ideas and brainstorm. There's a lot of really cool things about AI. But what we're trying to figure out, and I think the whole world is trying to figure this out, how can it be useful? Of course, if you are someone like me, you use it every day and it's very useful. But how can it be useful for people who maybe aren't technical, everyday people? Right now, if you want it to have integrations with things, you need to be technical to set up those. And we have this kind of problem where there's a gap between only technical people who know how to code a little bit or are willing to figure out the integrations and drag and drop the nodes, are able to do things with AI beyond just chatting with it or making fun pictures. So our goal is to make AI useful for everyday people. Somebody who wouldn't be interested in going that next level and figuring out the API integration. And what does it mean to be useful? I clearly didn't finish this. What does it mean to be useful? I think useful in this case means doing things like managing emails or setting up Slack integrations, working within third-party tools, could be complicated in business-to-business interactions, or it could be as simple as summarizing emails, or what does my calendar look like in a few weeks? Now, obviously some of those your Google Gemini is going to be able to do, or your whatever Siri is going to be called in the future, your Apple Intelligence, those will be able to do things like that. But what if you want it to be able to monitor your email ongoing and say, hey, look for new leads. And if you see a new lead, draft an email for me for that lead and go and research about that person's domain and their name and see if you can find information that is related to what they're offering or what they're interested in, and help me use that as part of my email to send back. And then notify me on Slack that you have a new lead for me and the draft is ready to go in my email. And that's an example of a very simple, useful interaction that we could have. What are we doing? We are building, I call it Lambda Curry OS right now, but name to be determined. We are building a web app for people to log in and set up these agents. And we are abstracting it in a way using Composio to where you can connect your various applications or tools with Composio to be able to utilize within interactions in our app and to work with the agents and your chat flows and set up APIs. All of this is work in progress, and we're at the very beginning of this application, but I want to show a little demo here in a second. Let's look at what an agent could look like in our approach to what we're building. So right now, our first agent structure is going to be something that takes multiple nodes and can connect those utilizing LangGraph and LangChain under the hood. It's very fancy. But it's not that complicated when you start to break it down. The complicated part is really just connecting it all and making sure it works with Postgres and memory, and it can get complicated. But simply, it looks like this, where you have a node that understands the input. You pass it towards interaction nodes is what we're calling them, and ways that the AI will think about that input. For example, you can have a research node here or a calendar tool here. And then we haven't set this up yet, but in theory, having a long-term agent context where you can save memory across chats and have updated memory as you go is an interesting concept. And then it goes back to a responder and gives the final response to you or the third-party tool or whatever you're connecting with. And that's our visual of the concept of an agent that we're building out with our Lambda Curry OS. So let's do a little live demo here. And we talked about Composio, and let's have it do some research and tell us what Composio is and how it works. So we asked this question here. It's going to go to my input understanding node, and it's based off of things that I've told it to think about for the understanding. It's going to go through these and give some context and information about what it thinks my end goal is. And then it's going to go do research based off of my request. It knows I'm looking for composio.dev. And so it's going to look up information about that. And then it's going to take all of that information and understanding and give me a response. And here I can learn that Composio works with different AI agents and LLMs and provides seamless connections, secure authentication. It's language agnostic. I can go to the official documentation. I can look up developer insights on it, this seems like an interesting article. I built an AI tool to handle my mom's invoices and saved her 20 hours of work. So that's something that a good example of what we're trying to build and how we can hopefully help people make useful things. So that's it for my demo right now. We are actively working to make these interactions customizable and agents customizable. So hopefully next showcase, I'll be able to provide more insight on different types of workflows and capabilities that we can do. But for now, that's all I've got, and I'm looking forward to showing you what's next.